Well, thank you, Craig. That was very, very nice, and it's really a wonderful honor, and it means a great deal to me. Like many of you, I do have deep ties to Ireland. My grandfather, Patrick McKiernan, left the town of Mohill in County Leitrim on Valentine's Day of 1904. And arrived in New York City about a week later. He passed through Ellis Island with about $10 in his pocket, according to the ship's manifest that they kept back then. He found an apartment to live in within walking distance of where the ferries from Ellis Island drop people off in Manhattan. I guess with $10, he probably didn't have too many options. He wasn't coming out to California. But like most Irish men on that ship, he was listed as a laborer. All the men on the ship, if you look at the manifest, were laborers. All the women tended to be servants or domestics. And he helped build the subway tunnels in New York City, which is what a lot of the Irish immigrants during the early 1900s did. And my grandfather and my grandmother raised 3 kids in the Hell's Kitchen section of New York City. My father, in 1929, at the age of 16, went to work for First National City Bank, which became Citibank, and he spent 47 years there and became a branch manager and assistant vice president, which isn't bad considering that he never even had a chance to graduate from high school. I was born and raised in New York City on the Lower East Side. Grew up in a housing project in Manhattan, surrounded by my Uncle Frank McKiernan and my aunts Bridie McKiernan and Susan McKiernan and Margaret McKiernan, all from Leitrim. And they often talked about Leitrim and Ireland and what a beautiful, peaceful place it was. And they talked about Uncle Tom, who stayed back on the farm in Leitrim and took care of the little plot of land and the few cows that he had. And I know many of you here tonight have that same connection to and love for Ireland. It's truly a magical place that has influenced the world in a way far beyond what you'd expect from a country with less than 6 million people. Today, my company, CyberSource, has a software development center in Belfast. We opened that a couple of years ago. We now have close to 40 people who work for us in Belfast. We expect that to increase to about 60 by the end of next year. We are truly delighted by the talent we found in Ireland. We're impressed by their commitment, their intellect, their creativity. We're absolutely committed to Ireland. We think it's a great place to do business. We had a great partner in Ireland, and that's Invest Northern Ireland. They were invaluable to us in helping us to get started. They provided generous funding. They helped us recruit talent. They helped us find office space. They introduced us to the business community in Belfast, and really were terrific partners throughout the whole process. And for those of you here tonight who have ancestral ties to Ireland, I'm sure you know how great it feels to be involved in Ireland. For me to go back to Ireland 106 years after my grandfather left and to tap into the intellectual power and the cultural richness and the strong value system that is Ireland is incredibly gratifying. But let me assure you, this is not charity. This is not philanthropy. This is not about personal gratification. This is business. And if we were not getting an excellent return on our investment in Ireland, we wouldn't be there. We're involved in Ireland because it makes excellent business sense for us to be there. We're delighted to be there. We look forward to being there for many, many years and growing our presence in Ireland. And a final note, I was in Dublin last September and attended the conference at Farmley, which was designed to capture the intellectual horsepower of the Irish diaspora and try to help Ireland through this economic crisis that they're in. And Craig Barrett was also at that conference at Farmley. And I'll tell you, when Craig spoke at that conference, people listened. You could hear a pin drop in that room, and it wasn't uncommon to have the podium call out to Craig and say, "Craig, what do you think about this issue?" And I want to tell you that as an organization, we are very, very lucky to have Craig Barrett as our chairman. Thank you, Craig, and thank you very much.